I found Jamil in the Red Flowers Cafe and Bar. Poor kid was crying so loudly that he attracted several Zeds. After clearing them out, I made sure the entire building was secure enough for him to stay hidden while I went to find his mum. Jamil said she took Yasmina to a man named Salim who lived in the tool shop. Apparently, he has antizin. When I questioned him about Ida, he refused to cooperate, even went so far as to turn on an alarm that caught the attention of a group of runner Zeds. I did not need this exercise today! And of course my sword breaks in half once I manage to drive it into Salim's fucking chest. Whatever, I'll see if the workshop at the tower has any fresh ones. Once I found Ida in the bastard's basement, I got her free before telling her to take her kids and head for the tower. Lena will be able to take care of them there. I went to the Lake of the Drowned to gather some dulse for Sophia at the fishing village. Was not expecting to find Gas Mask Man hunkered down in one of the nearby houses. His name's Shakur, and needless to say he had a rifle aimed at me when I startled him. Thankfully he didn't pull the fucking trigger. I calmly asked him about the incident with the front gate of the village, and he told me that it was someone pretending to be him that did it. Went searching about to find a gas mask in Gersel's place. Upon confronting him about it, he told me he needed to find a way to get the village to, quote, agree to pay Rise's protection tribute, or else they'd be in deeper shit. I'd say that was too far of a fucking stretch. We could have lost an entire village with that fucking stunt. I will say this, it is a damn good thing Zeds can't swim. Since it's been who knows how long since I was able to take a shower, I decided to go for a swim while I'm down here at the fishing village. Oh, that nice, cold, refreshing water. Crystal clear enough you can see the plant life growing at the bottom of the river. This city definitely has its fair share of secrets. While I was out gathering lavender to help some of the folks at the tower try to clear the air of the smell of rotting Zeds, I found a nearby cave over by the ferry pier. Granted, it was small and underwater, but who am I to ignore adventure? I wasn't expecting to find a small island with a single palm tree inside the cave, though. Goes to show what can be done, even with the smallest bit of sunlight shining through. I try my damnedest to keep from going out at night, since it's the easiest way to get killed. Before I left the fishing village, however, I glanced at the notice board and found a request to find a plant called the Midnight Bride. Apparently, it's a bioluminescent plant that makes for fantastic fishing bait. The only known location for it is the park up by the northwest apartment buildings. So I ran up there and waited for night to fall. Luckily, I only needed to use a couple of flares to keep a volatile away while I picked them, but I still prefer running during the day. Jade called for Crane and I to meet her at one of the boxcars sitting on the tracks near the school. We needed antizin pretty fast, no matter the stakes, and she wanted to take it from Rise. We knew he had been using the school as a sort of warehouse, storing a lot of the airdrops they beat us to inside. It's worth a shot, to say the least. Not like much else can go wrong. While I have zero idea how Jade got inside, Crane and I found the maintenance door to the roof unlocked. Once inside, we split up to search the classrooms for any clue we could find to see if they had antizin. It's eerily quiet in here, and what I've found in the couple classrooms so far is nothing like a proper storage place. I just hope this plan of Jade's works. My suspicions were wrong! Rise's men weren't using it for storage. The school was being used as a makeshift military base in the beginning of this mess, and they were scavenging what's left. After a few rooms, I heard Crane run into a group of the goon squad. Fuckers turned on the damn fire alarm to warn the others. Once I shut it up, I helped him with the idiots. While we didn't find any antizin in the top 2 floors, we found the keys to the basement and regrouped with Jade. We still didn't find any antizin. But what we did find... oh god, more fucking plastic explosives. Why is it always goddamn explosives? It was dark by the time we left the school. On the way out, we spotted an odd-looking Zed that was covered in glowing green blisters. Stranger still, it took one look at us and hightailed it the fuck out of there. Being the highest authority we have at hand, I went to talk with Dr. Zera about it. His only theory is that it's a mutation from his earlier experiments. There are several specific areas where the doc placed said experiments where the bolters like to hang. He asked me to get him a fresh sample so that he could examine it. Another trip out into the darkness. Great. Jared, one of the guys that run the shop on the 19th floor, called me over. He said there were new survivors that arrived at the bazaar. Apparently, there is a witch among them that claims the infected won't even touch her as she walks the streets. This I may have to see for myself. As I was leaving the tower, Spike radioed me to tell me he was going to be down at the ferry pier for a while, helping them fix up the barge. I went to go see if they needed any help, and while they were grateful, they had nothing that needed doing, except for one person. A man by the name of Neil Fallon, a news reporter, asked me to retrieve his satchel he had to abandon in the net cafe after a horde tried to bite him, and his camera he had to ditch in a car while he was running. Though he thinks he's getting out of here and telling the world about what's happening, I know he doesn't have a chance. Regardless, I'll get his things just to give him some slight peace of mind. Back on to more important matters. The bazaar is close by one of the locations that the bolters like to hang out at. Since I got there midday, I decided to finally meet the witch herself. Her name is Dahlia, and she is something. Upon being asked if what the others said was true, she told me that while it was, I would not be able to use the ability myself. Regardless, she has a plan to make a tonic that will allow me to get past the infected unscathed as she does. All I need to do is go gather some black mushrooms. The catch? They grow in a known volatile nest. Why is it always my luck? As soon as night fell, I went straight for the bolter, flares at the ready to ward off any volatiles. Luckily, I was able to take it down before it could run off. Deciding it best not to waste time, I just cut a bit of flesh from it and bolted my own ass to Zera's trailer as fast as my own legs could take me. Have I mentioned I hate night runs? When I got there, Zera was talking to Dr. Camden, a colleague who was trapped in Sector 0. Without hesitation, Zera went to work examining what I brought him, and tested it with something. Turns out his previous meat experiment to try to cure the infected has led to something, because him and Camden were going on and on about how this could make a cure. Unfortunately, the only one with the right tools to do any more proper tests is Camden, and there's too much information to transfer by radio. Looks like we'll be taking a trip to Sector 0 soon enough. Getting in and out of the cave for the mushrooms was easier than I thought, since there were only about 5 Zeds inside. I quickly gathered all the mushrooms I could find and got them back to Dahlia. Within minutes, the potion was done. Though she went on about how I was under her complete control, I shrugged it off and went into the street to test it out. It felt so weird being able to stand among the Zeds and none of them even noticed me. What's weirder still is how even though I wanted to walk forward, my legs took that as walking backwards. This ain't gonna work. Perhaps Dahlia has an idea how to fix the side effect. Dahlia told me she could make a new potion that might work better, but it would take stronger ingredients. To be more specific, it would take the liver of a goon. These are 8-foot-tall monster Zeds that can easily bash your face in with a makeshift rebar sledgehammer. I managed to find one roaming around the rail yard by itself. Wouldn't want to do this with any other Zeds around. Luckily, I had my bow with me for once, so I could take care of this from a distance. Took a few shots, but once it was down, I quickly got what I needed and headed back to the bazaar. What is this potion gonna have me do next? Strike 2. Yeah, it lasted longer this time round, but halfway through it, my fucking muscles tensed to the point I was motionless. It's a good thing I tested it away from a large group, because even after the main effect wore off, my muscles wouldn't let me move for several more seconds. How are we gonna combat this? With a kidney of a fucking bomber, apparently. Feels like Dahlia just keeps trying to send me closer and closer to my death, rather than trying to help me sneak through the horde. I'm gonna have to get crafty with this one. I went back to the tower to check to see if the first floor shopkeep had anything fresh from the other runners in stock. Before I passed him, though, the quartermaster stopped me to let me know of a bomber infestation spotted outside the warehouse under the highway overpass. Sounds exactly like what I need right now. It was getting dark as I reached the area, so I dipped into the scrapyard that Ryan was using previously to wait it out, giving me time to prep some fresh arrows for my new bow. No way in the hell am I trying to take out the bombers with a melee weapon. That's insanity! I've seen other runners deal with them like this. One arrow, and boom. Science has told us that our eyes see everything upside down, and our brain corrects the image subconsciously. Thanks to that last batch, I saw what it would look like if it didn't do that, and let me tell you, it ain't fun! One last shot, I suppose. This time, Dahlia wants a brain. Go figure. Only since each tonic has been requiring organs from stronger and stronger Zeds, this one is going to have to come from a bolter. Another night run. Brilliant. This better pay off. While I was out trying not to get my ass killed in the middle of the night, my radio decided to click to life. The geniuses at Artolga and Fatine decided that was a brilliant time to inform me that they require my assistance yet again. It's the middle of the night, and I'm running across fucking rooftops trying to keep from being a volatile's dinner. You jackwagons couldn't have waited till morning? To fuck with the interruption twins, I went to go take care of Fallon's request first. Had to pick the lock to the internet cafe, but it gave me enough time to hear what was waiting for me on the other side of that door. After opening it, I tossed something inside to startle it and then booked it to a nearby roof to avoid the blast from the bomber. With satchel in hand, I radioed Fallon to find out where the camera was. Of course it was in a car on the infamy bridge. Why wouldn't it be? Had to swim for it, though, since the car was hanging off the edge of the bridge when I got to it, and the damn thing fell into the river. Fallon said he desperately needed those photos for proof. The shit I do for people.